Steve,
Good morning.
you're on mute, but good to see you.
You as well.
Yeah, up there.
Abby, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Abby?
Can you hear me?
Hold on just a minute. I gotta.
For the record, this is not my fault.
It's no fault.
No, I'm just kidding.
I keep always saying it's gonna be my New Year's resolution 1 year since COVID to say, I think you're still on mute and never have to say that. Yeah.
We did that on purpose.
Never gonna hit that mark.
Okay, so I see Abby and Steve.
Can you guys hear me?
Have you seen those coffee mugs? that
But it's
have
our
on
fault.
there, you know? Like, oh, it's on the mug.
it's on the
Yes,
mug.
that's great. You just hold it up. Oh, I need to get one of those. That's great.
Is that when you can't talk, you just,
You just hold up the mug.
Yeah.
Somebody says you're on mute.
sometimes we do that on purpose, you don't realize.
This was working during our test call.
Oh.
Let me see if Craig or,
Craig's not here.
We don't have a voice for any of them. I cannot
No,
hear you.
I think she's talking to Steve.
She can hear Steve, but
Yeah. Yes.
You two can hear each
It's
other.
Abby.
Oh,
I can hear you.
Us as well.
Right,
you can hear us?
we just can't hear
Yes.
them.
Right.
We just can't hear you. Can y'all speak sign language?
you did something.
Yeah.
I heard him laugh. Pick that bottom one, sharp HDMI.
Say something.
Hello.
Yeah.
Abby,
Success.
can we hear you, Abby?
now, this doesn't make any sense if we can hear Steve.
Yeah, we can hear Steve, but we can't hear Abby.
I can hear Abby before, not now.
Oh, no.
Hear me now?
Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
let's start.
Don't touch anything, okay?
I'm not touching anything.
Well, I'd like to welcome all of you to the Arkansas Financial Education Commission. This is our Tuesday, June the 11th, 2024 meetings, 10 a.m. here at the Vector Building. We have two online. Welcome to each of you. So I call this meeting to order. And I think you all were provided with the minutes of the last meeting, which was held on Tuesday, March the 5th, 2024 at 9 a.m. Are there any changes or corrections or additions that anyone would like to make to the minutes that we provided? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion for the approval of those minutes. Got a motion
So moved.
and a second? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Hi.
Any opposed? All right, good. Thank you all for that. We have three reports, and fortunately Abby is online. And Abby, you're the first to talk about the Arkansas Savings Initiative.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, and thanks, everyone. I wanted to offer a brief update on the subcommittee that has been helping discuss and talk about a savings, and I'll use the word campaign in Arkansas. This is building off of last year's Bank On results and how we've been able to help reduce the number of unbanked and underbanked individuals, but Arkansas's savings rate, if not the last in the nation, is close to the last in the nation. And so a great group of folks have volunteered to be part of a savings subgroup to explore strategies through the Asset Funders Network. And we have greatly benefited from both Fran in the treasurer's office, as well as Catherine Mitchell with Reliance, adding their voices to that conversation. I thought it might be worth talking or just elevating the other members of that group. It includes Kara Wilkins from Bank On Arkansas that you all have met, Molly Palmer from Heart of Arkansas United Way, Sam Evans from the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and she's in Little Rock, Sarah Albright with the Accelerate Foundation up in Northwest Arkansas, and Kim Davis from the Walton Family Foundation. And just briefly to provide you an update of where we are, the group has been meeting. We met actually yesterday as well. And we are working through a list of criteria by which a savings campaign or strategy would be chosen, if you will, or recommended. And some of that includes, helping support the financial institutions that are already part of Bank On, having a targeted audience in the state of Arkansas, et cetera. And so our next couple of meetings will be to flesh out that criteria, to define a North Star of what we're trying to accomplish. We have been looking at Saver Life as a potential option, and we're going to go ahead and get a demo for the group of that particular tool and resource. But all of that to say, we hope to come back to Arkansas Asset Funders Network in August to offer an official recommendation. One of the reasons it will go there first is because those are the folks that, quite frankly, we would want to fund it. And so we will go to them, see what their interest is, start to figure out if they, in fact, could help pull together the resource to launch something in 2025. And at that point, after the August meeting, I will be able to come back to this group to see how/if the Treasurer's Office and the Arkansas Financial Education Commission would want to engage in whatever the plan is at that point. So there's no decision point today, but I did want to offer an update. And let me pause and ask if Catherine, and I don't know if she's in the room, I can't see her, and Fran have any additional updates.
So unfortunately, Catherine had a last minute appointment she had to make, so she's not able to join us today. But the only, if you would, Abby, just give a Reader's Digest condensed version of what Saver Life, how it works and how it does not compete with the banks, but it actually is a more or less a partnership with the banks that would be involved.
So Saver Life is a national organization based out of, well, I guess they had the origins in California, but now the executive director CEO lives in DC. And it is an online app platform, if you will, that you sign up for free. And what we would be proposing is a particular savings campaign focused on Arkansas residents, where there would be incentives to sign up and save. Today, anybody in the state of Arkansas could actually go sign up for Saver Life and start to get customized financial education prompts and ways to help you think about savings, reducing debt, building your credit score. You don't sign up for a bank account. Rather, you sign up to participate, and you get to choose whether you will link your existing bank account or savings account. And that is one of the criteria that the subcommittee is really looking at, is how do we elevate the banks that already have the products? They already have the checking and the savings accounts, and this would just be an added bonus. It is also, according to their current data, of over 5,000 users in Arkansas, in which we've done nothing to promote, but they already have 5,000 users. It seems to be that the population using this information is ALICE, asset limited, income constrained, but employed. So it's the 30 to 50-year-old using technology, finding their way through prompts and ads and social media. So it's just a super interesting, curious strategy in my mind of a population that we're not reaching in schools, right? Like, it's not children. It's not an older population that might be reached through cooperative extension or something like that. So it seems to be this interesting missing middle that AFN has a particular interest in elevating and inspiring them, to save and to have emergency savings in particular. So Fran, did I do a good job of that?
Yeah, much better than I could have done. Yes, thank you.
Sure.
What's the name of the app again?
It's called
Saver Life.
Saver Life.
And I'll put it in the chat box.
And I know one of the other issues that's come up quite a bit, and especially from Catherine, is confirming the security of the information and what is done with the data that is collected. And it's a company called Plaid that I think those in the banking industry are probably more familiar with than I am, but it's like a gold standard. It's well known for its security, and it looks like Steve is familiar with it too. So yeah, we're just really kind of running some traps, and I appreciate being a part of the conversation.
So that's it for me, sir. I was just offering that update. No decision today, but I hope to come back in our fall meeting with more information and where the group has landed on a recommendation.
Thank you, Abby. Next, we'll hear from Fran talking about the next money magazine sponsorship.
So hopefully everybody got either at their office or at some of you I have home addresses for, but I didn't want to bother you at home. But I did arrange to have these sent to you. So hopefully you did get them, but if not, there's some additional ones. And I have more if you want to take them back to your office. But just to point out, we were very visible in this publication. The treasurer's office, we had one of the first ads when you first open it up. And then if you go over to pages 6 and 7, that's kind of the spread that explains what the Treasury office does, and then has the profiles when I had asked all of you to submit questions and answers for them. So, and then the very back, 529 sponsored the back page. But in our, and I'm not jumping ahead here, Heather, but we've really been promoting this when we've done these talking tours where we're traveling around the state and talking to leaders in communities about the financial needs in their communities. And so in the afternoons, we're typically meeting with high school students or college students, and we're taking copies of this along, you know, in the event they're not getting it from their school counselor. But it's really, it's a very popular magazine, and we will also, they have a giveaway at the very back. They encourage students to fill in and answer a few questions, and they go into a drawing for like AirPods, laptop, iPads, PS4s. So we will be receiving this information. We'll get their email addresses, and so if we wanted to put them like in the 529 portal to receive emails, we can do that. So if there's any follow-up, we'll have the ability to do that as well.
Anything else?
Not on this, huh?
Okay.
And I think next is,
Ms. Heather, talk about, talk to the treasurer.
was there a question?
Oh,
Oh, I thought-
y'all have a question? Okay,
I'll
thank
let
you.
Brant kind of tag team with me on this next one, but as you all know, we told you at the March 5th meeting that we had launched the first 2 community roundtable tours in Bryant and Greenbrier. And since then, we have gone all over. And speaking of this magazine, March 26th, we went to Warren, and they have a wonderful career center there in Warren at the high school, and technical career center where they can do different trades. And so we had the community roundtable there that morning. And then that afternoon, we met with some of the high school students that are actually involved in that program. And I noticed, I looked on their website this past week, and they have our publication on their website. So I was like, they paid attention. And then the very next day, we went to Pine Bluff. We had a very great meeting. We had probably 18 or 19 people show up for the community roundtable. Reliance Bank hosted us there. So Catherine she helped coordinate Warren and Pine Bluff, and was a great help. But we had
Was her grandmother?
That was her mother.
Well, in Warren, after the high school roundtable, we took the treasurer over to the kindergarten at the elementary school, and he read to Catherine's mother's class,
Yeah.
and it was so sweet.
Abby.
So sweet. But Pine Bluff, it was just, when you go into these different communities, just like we suspected, they're gonna be different, because not every community is exactly the same, and the needs are not exactly the same. But I found Pine Bluff to be one of the best meetings. I enjoyed it so much. And then that afternoon, we went over to UAPB and we met students from the College of Business there, and they were fantastic. They were phenomenal. And they had so many good thoughts and ideas. And of course, Fran and I frantically writing notes. And and then from there, we went on April 11th to Magnolia, and that was another really good meeting. We met at Cadence Bank there in Magnolia for the community roundtable. Then the treasurer spoke to their Rotary group at lunch, and then we went over to SAU in the afternoon and had a roundtable with the college students. And again, that was a very good meeting with those students. They're kind of ahead of the curve, in my opinion. They developed a financial program there for their students called Mule Sense, or Mule Rider Sense.
Yeah.
And they offer financial coaching, and they hand out budget forms to students on campus to teach them how to do their budget. And
yeah, Abby, I'll tell you more about it. There might be some things that you would be interested in from your other ventures.
Those I think three of those students ended up coming to the Capitol one day and visited the treasurer and came to the vault, and we did a little video with them. But I was just so impressed by them. Mm-hmm. They want to help, and they were involved in a contest, which is why they were in Little Rock. I think it was a governor.
It was the governor's. It was not coding competition. It was where they came with ideas that they had created, like a venture. Entrepreneurial
competition.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they are working on developing an app that helps with financial matters, financial literacy, financial education. And so we thought, wow, they might be able to, jump in and help us with what we're trying to do here. But,
by the way, that where the competition is Arkansas Business has been doing this for quite some time. Not Arkansas Business.
The Venture Center, or
No, it's
Economics Arkansas?
Economics Arkansas.
no.
It's not their group.
there used to be a coding well, the governor does a coding, or it's a governor.
Yeah, they had the Governor's Cup.
It was that. It was the Governor's Cup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was what they were at. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, anyway, all of that to say that they developing an app that they're hoping to, launch at their campus at SAU, and it's definitely something that we've noted and want to follow up with them to see how that goes.
Let me have a comment too on that. It was obvious at the college level we're well ahead of the high school level. Things can be done in the high school that could probably build that up, but there was this distinct difference, which I guess you would expect that, because they're into the higher level, and they were business majors as opposed to major in anything in high school. But there are some things like the Mule Rider Sense that I think could be used on a high school level too.
Yes.
Where the business club could take that on as a project to assist, to make that, something that would be an ongoing project for that group even as the people change going through it, that to help the fellow students, help themselves getting to learn it, but then help the fellow students in the economic education.
And have them teach it, because the high school students will listen to the college students more than they'll listen to us.
So there's a lot of potential there. That was one of the big things that I've taken away from these weeks that we've been out there.
I think we also met with, what was the other college we met with? Henderson. and
Yeah.
it was a few of their students from their business college, and I felt like they all had some common suggestions and common themes and what they, one of the things that we heard repeatedly from the college students was, wish that they would start teaching some of these concepts earlier in school, like, start with some basic concepts in elementary, and then every year just kind of build on and add concepts as they go through all the way up into high school.
And there was Bismarck, there was a really unique perspective too that came, and it came from she's the new superintendent. Well, she's going over to Poyen School District. Poyen, sorry. Yes, I'm from Arkansas. But she kind of illuminated this idea that if we have like a financial fair or something that's technically geared toward the children,
Yes.
but it be open to the family, because a lot of parents perhaps don't want to admit that they're limited in their knowledge. And if we make it a family event, they're not, signing up as an adult to come to a workshop about something they should already know. It takes away a little of the stigma. So that was a very unique insight, and something, in fact, we're going to talk with her in a few weeks, not only about that, but also she wanted to talk about 529 and ABLE. So.
And so she mentioned we went to Bismarck May 14th, and then we had also
Where do we meet in Bismarck?
we met at the First
Baptist
Baptist Church. Well, this is what I found very interesting. We also met in Desart, and we met at the First Baptist Church in Desart, and their population is very similar, but they were very different. Very different. I think Bismarck, having sort of, they're an unincorporated town, so they're not a classified city.
Well, it's because Abby's from there.
And that, yes, it's from it's Abby's hometown.
We're a class 1 city.
I think their perspective is neat because they're right on the outside of Hot Springs, and they're right between Hot Springs and Arkadelphia. And so they have those two big colleges there in Arkadelphia, and then also the state park. And so they get a lot of tourism. And I just felt like their perspective was completely different from Desart, because they don't have those same kind of resources out there in Desart. So,
but still very impressive.
Very
impressive.
yes.
The people we met with at Desert.
Absolutely. I mean, Mr. Paul Guest hosted us in Desart, and he has that big Christmas store out there. He is just a dynamic guy, and you can tell he has a heart and passion for the people there. And so,
well, all the kids at the school
love him. He employs a lot of women
and their parents. Yeah.
But that to say, every community that we went into, there were, one or two people that just sort of stood out to us that were very passionate about this and about what we're trying to do. And so I asked the treasurer, Bran, what they thought about bringing those individuals to the Capitol and having kind of a roundtable workshop with them. After we've got Helena, we've got one more that we're going to do June 27th, and that we're going to kind of wrap up this listening tour. And after that, Abby, we want to get our little small subcommittee together so that we can start kind of sharing our notes and kind of talk about that.
Some concrete
Coming up with some ideas, but then also bringing that group of those individuals from those different communities here and just kind of having a workshop with them or a round table with them and bounce some ideas off of them. I think one of the teachers in Greenbrier had some wonderful ideas of engaging the students in like a competition. And then one of the teachers from Warren stood out to us as being just very engaged and dynamic.
Desart, the woman from the bank, and she's already followed up with me about contacting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau about getting some books for their students.
Yeah.
So yeah, lots of great connections.
So all of that to say, as soon as we wrap up Helena and we have our little subcommittee meeting and get that done, our plan is to come back at the next
Mhm.
Financial Education Commission and hopefully have some proposals for you guys to look at and think about, vote on, and see which direction we want to go. And I don't know if this study was out at the last meeting that we had, but it seems like it was right after the last commission meeting that we had. There was a new study that came out that was so timely because it showed Arkansas 50th in the nation in terms of financial education, financial literacy. And I thought, wow, I'm glad that we're engaged in doing this. So hopefully we can move that needle a little bit. So,
You know, it's a moving target too, so it's not gonna be easy.
Mhm.
no,
But I will tell you this, that there's a lot of effort that's going on with this group that's going out. But I'm 100% confident that it is worth everything we're putting into it. Hopefully we'll be getting something out, but it'll be incremental and it will, you know, it's kind of like, you know, saving one life. You just, you know, if we can make a dent in any kind of dent in this, I think we're going to be I will be successful because there's so many, it's such a, you know, a difficult thing for people to get into and then to get out of. And it affects really all parts of their lives whenever they get upside down financially. It just causes problem after problem. So I'm glad I'm part of it, and I'm glad these ladies are too. Thank y'all for enduring.
I feel for the updates. I mean, it sounds very positive. It sounds like you uncovered a lot of ground lately.
we've been
So,
taking the
Keep us
treasure all over the state.
They won't let me drive.
She's a road warrior.
I learned a lot about how they drive.
Heather's the road warrior, I tell you what.
they're all still here, so.
Well, we still have Helena.
Friends always eat at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. And saying my rosary in the back.
Okay, let's, any questions or
Did you have-
comments? Yes, Stephen?
No, Abby was leaving. She was waving goodbye. I was waving.
Oh,
to her.
okay.
Thank you, Abby.
Bye,
Thanks for your
Abby.
help in Bismarck.
I'll follow up with you.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Okay, the next thing I have on my agenda is, I guess, new business
So
or what?
it's not necessarily new business,
It's
but
not old business, not new business.
it's just,
This is the new title,
it's
business.
it's business, it's
In
business.
the middle.
So I've been, and you, if I'm miscommunicating this, you correct me, but I talked with Susanna, as some of you may know or may recall, when the commission was formed, it was formed in the legislation and in the rules specifically stating it's a 9-person committee or a 9-person commission. And 3 of those positions are at large. So that would be Patricia, Abby, and Marcia. But the others are on the commission by virtue of the positions that you hold. In banking and security, when the commission was formed, they were 2 separate agencies, entities, departments. But your organizational structure has changed to where now Susanna, they've eliminated the difference and merged into one. And so that presents, I mean, obviously the biggest challenge is for you all because you're having to reorganize everything, but just recognizing that the commission has before it, and we'll have to go into the 25 session and change this. So I wanted to, and we can formally decide this at the next meeting when more people are present, but the 2 options we have as a commission are either to maintain the 9 and kind of figure out or decide what that other agency is, or go ahead and change the language to be an 8-member commission, because we're still getting the, you know, obviously Campbell's here. I mean, we're still getting the 2-for-1 with both the divisions are both still represented. They're just represented under one person. So I just wanted to open that up for any comments or discussion or what people are thinking we do.
Have you and Commissioner Marshall talked about this and you'll have a suggestion?
Well, I think you got the rundown basically right. You know, we merged August 1st of 23, so we're almost a year in, and things are going well, but it did muddle the statutory interpretations here and with State Board of Finance as well. I don't know that we have any suggestions. I think, you know, I think it's what you all feel is best for the commission. You know, I'm always available and I can sit in her stead or I can join her at these meetings, like you said, as a 2-for-1 package. So if we went to 8, you know, I could still be involved in my current role as I am now. And I don't see any, you know, operational impact necessarily from that. So, but if I think with 9, the only concern is that, you know, if she were to, you know, if we wanted to sit 9, she would have to designate me in one of those in the securities commissioner role, because she kind of technically has 2 on the under the statute now. And then, you know, if there was some contentious vote or whatnot, then it's, you know, she essentially has stacked the deck with 2 votes.
Well, she would just have the 1 vote though if we did the 8.
Right. So I would think for, you know, just kind of speaking offhand, I would think for efficiency purposes, the 8, you know, seems to make good sense, you know, for, you know, the time being. But, and like I said, I don't think that would kick me out of involvement in any way either. So.
Yeah, and whatever we do will be a recommendation, because obviously it'll be the product of the legislature in 25. And we haven't talked about a sponsor. I don't know who sponsored the bill.
It was Missy Overt and Cozart. Yeah. Urban and
Those aren't.
So.
They're both still there.
Yes, Cozart and Urban.
Okay. Okay, we'll probably need to talk to them now.
What?
Anybody have any other suggestion? We're open. I came to the same conclusion. Probably, you know, this board has a, you know, it's I can't foresee a controversial issue, because, you know, we're all looking for the same thing. So if it gets down as a 4-4, then maybe it doesn't need to go.
I just in the motion dies.
Yeah.
If it's split, it's.
Yeah, that's just a negative vote, and I'm okay with that.
Me too.
And, you know, I'm a lawyer, so I think like a lawyer. And then, you know,
Sorry.
I know, but you always look for, you know, the most contentious outcomes. You know, not that I would ever expect there to be a contentious 5-4 vote, you know, on the, but, you know, it's just, you're looking at the realm of all possibilities. That's
Well,
what.
you know, that possibility exists. And,
yeah.
But my thought was, if it's 4-4, then maybe we don't need to.
Right.
And we would bake that into the legislation, right? I mean, or in the rules, that would be stated. Is that right?
You know, I don't know if it was stay up, but if you don't have a majority, you don't.
It just dies.
True. Right.
What? So,
Matt, a comment here.
sure.
What about, I don't remember when we put this together 4 years ago, it all went down. And we've been through this. What if with the merger of securities and the banking, because there's so many financial planners, financial services, financial advising, could the industry we have room from credit unions, banking, could there be a point of position from the securities from a financial advisory firm in the state and individual to make the 9 to make it?
Could add an at-large. I mean, that would be another
from the industry,
possibility.
from the industry.
You know, from the securities industry, to balance. But if you wanted to
Because they
You know,
did almost
keep an eye-
$10 in education.
keep an odd number, that's a thought.
It would have to be an at-large because the other members are all state
Ex officio, yeah.
agencies.
Right. So just to throw another, you know, wrench in their possibility in the mix.
But they got to pass broker check.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there are plenty of
Okay.
good ones out there.
Good.
Okay.
All right. Next steps.
So the only other item I had was just talking about our next meeting. We typically would have it in September, but September is crazy, at least, well, it's crazy for everybody. And so I did want to go ahead and throw out a possible date of Thursday, October 3rd at 10 o'clock in the morning and see if that might possibly work. And we'll, of course, follow up with a more formal, and I promise to do a better invite this time. But we'll gauge the availability of the other members who aren't here right now. But tentatively, if there is when is that PGA tournament? That's not
End of October.
end of October. Okay. I was just trying to think of something new on the calendar that is in October, so.
Well, September's the bad one.
Mhm. So Steve, do you have any known conflicts with that date right now?
That date looks good for me right now.
Thank you. You too?
Looks good for me,
All right.
at least
Well,
one of us.
we'll just tentatively hold it, and we'll follow up with a more formal request. And then I'm done. Now,
October what?
You should have it, we confirmed it with Bailey, October
Yeah,
3rd.
Good.
You should have a temporary hold.
Okay. I got something on those. Yep, that's it.
That's it.
Any other business to come before the Arkansas Financial Education Commission today? Okay. Seeing none, I declare this meeting to be adjourned. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you, guys.
Steve.
Good to see everyone.
Please.
Are you